line means no lines. When you're ordering from Head West, go to headwestsubs.com and get fed without waiting in line.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Miss an interview? Catch the podcast whenever, wherever. 92.7 WMAY is on demand at WMAY.com.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, cloudy with a high near 53. Rain arriving tonight with a low around 39. Tomorrow, rain in the morning. Breezy with temperatures falling to near freezing by sunset. Low tomorrow night around 26. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 34. Low around 22. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 40. Low around 31. And Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Now it's time for Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
And this is our weekly review of what happens at the Springfield City Council. Good morning. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. If you're not familiar with the Council Roundup, we do this every week. Every week there's either a full city council meeting or a committee of the whole. There are 10 alder people in the horseshoe. The mayor also takes part in it. You'll hear voices from the corporation council, the city's lawyer, alder people, the mayor, citizens sometimes, businesses seeking grants, a variety of other voices. But it really is important. I don't live in Springfield. A lot of you don't live in Springfield, but a lot of you do spend your tax dollars in Springfield. So good to know how those tax dollars are being spent. But last night there was a lot of talk about trash, a lot of trash talk at last night's Springfield City Council.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, not to belabor all the trash talk.
What exactly were they talking about? We'll get to that, a lot of it throughout the program, but the Council Roundup is brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, Head West Subs. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. You've got the Committee of the Whole dealing with ordinances up for consideration, and the measures obviously range from spending money to approving this, that, or the other. But let's hear first from the treasurer, Misty Buscher, who's also running for mayor in April's election. She laid out just how much money there was in the city's coffers.
The corporate fund, the beginning balance in the month of December, $63,003,400. We had total receipts in the corporate fund of $10,225,093. We had total disbursements of $9,895,404, which left the corporate fund with an ending balance of $63,333,089. Chair Gregory, of that ending balance, the ARPA fund balance, American Rescue Plan Act dollars, was $23,074,326.
So you got a lot of money that's left over there in the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Those are the dollars that were given to municipalities across the country to deal with COVID-19. So we'll hear a little bit more about how some of those dollars, the $20+ million that still remains in city coffers, in the city of Springfield coffers, we'll hear about that coming up with the trash talk later on. But Alderman Sean Gregory, he chaired last night's Committee of the Whole. He starts off with a moment of silence.
For a second, before we proceed with normal life, that we just take a moment of silence and just think how precious life is.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, which situation are we referring to, just in general?
The situation that was reported today, where a young 35-year-old man, appears to be, murdered by some people sent to help him. So, rather than speak on the details of it, I just think that I just want to take a moment for myself and for others, just to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was unaware. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he concludes that moment of silence, and obviously you're hearing about that story from our newsroom, and you can find more details about it as that story progresses of 2 EMTs that have been charged with murder in the death of an individual that they were sent to take care of. Go to WMAY.com for the latest details on that. But moving on here, we got an ordinance up for consideration dealing with some cash money.
An ordinance authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $4,147,939 for the Office of Public Works.
Move to consent. So what is this for? It's an ordinance, again, for dealing with public works.
Authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $4,147,939 for the Office of Public Works.
I got to look at the detail on that. $4 million, and there's no debate. So obviously for public works, we want to make sure that our infrastructure is good to go and everything, but $4 million and no debate. Okay. Next up, you got another ordinance.
LLC for demolition and site clearance of 66 units in Poplar Place in an amount not to exceed $1,345,370 for the Office of Public Works.
So Poplar Place is an area of town that is dilapidated. It needs some serious attention. Buildings are falling apart, so they're looking to spend some money to get those buildings demolished. And there was an earlier agreement to provide some TIF dollars for this project, and there's dozens of units there that they want to rehab or tear down and replace. And update the streets there so it's a better area close to downtown Springfield. So Poplar Place getting some of those dollars. Next up here is some of the conversation.
You may recall there was a development agreement for Poplar. Part of the agreement provided that the city would provide demolition, but then the project would reimburse it to the city.
And that's Corporation Counsel Jim Zirkle talking about that particular measure. Up next, though, you've got Alderman Sean Gregory, who's talking about the demographics of the demo company.
Look to have these minorities, are contracting things out to other folks that don't have them. So, we're barking up their tree when everybody in the city has to try to get that, so we can get to our goals, get to what we want to do. So I just, I'm adamant with that. Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley saying that Gregory's bringing up a good point about the demographics and says that the city needs to lead on this.
I mean, you actually raised a really good point there, and it might be something that the council needs to look at in how we design our external contracting requirements. I mean, if it's just 51% city residents, maybe there needs to be, council needs to look at possibly adding a minority, because we have, if you're a local company, there's a preference, you get a little bit extra credit. Maybe that's something we need to look at. We got that HR report, and city workforce is overwhelmingly male, like 20% female, 80% male, and the racial breakdown would not let us be a contractor under this PLA. So, I think we need to be looking at what the city itself can do and leading by example, especially, in our own city hiring, and then how we set up the sort of extra criteria for contracts.
So just hearing some of the back and forth from last night's Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole, and they had a whole bunch of other ordinances that they tackled. So we'll just go through some of those, and you can kind of add these up in your own head as to how much this is costing taxpayers here.
With Homer Tree Service Incorporated for Firehouse 13 tree removal and clearing in the amount not to exceed $63,000 for the Office of Public Works.
Move for consent.
All right, next.
An ordinance authorizing a 2-year renewal of contract number PW21-20, BLH Computers Incorporated, for collection, recycling, and disposal of electronic waste for an amount not to exceed $206,000 for the Office of Public Works.
Move for consent.
All right, next.
With Habitat for Humanity of Sangamon County for collection, recycling, and disposal of bulky, large items for an amount not to exceed $515,000 for the Office of Public Works.
Move for consent.
All right, next.
1-year renewal of contract PW 20-21 with Evans Carthage for landscape waste disposal services for an amount not to exceed $780,000 from April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024 for the Office of Public Works.
Move for consent.
Second.
All right, next. Was that like close to $2 million now? All right, next up.
With the L. Pruitt Company, Petersburg Plumbing and Excavating, LLC, Perry Broughton and Trucking and Excavating Incorporated, and Rayhan Brothers Incorporated, doing business as Sangamo Construction Company for cave-in repairs in an amount not to exceed $1,400,000 for the Office of Public Works.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to fix some cave-ins. Interesting to hear, though, some of the price tags on these things as we listen to the council meeting from last night. The Committee of the Whole, not final passage on this stuff. This is the first reading and then the second reading of these measures, and then they decide if they're going to put them on the debate agenda for next week or if they're going to be put on the consent agenda for the final passage, all lumped together with a bunch of different measures. More from last night.
2022-584, an ordinance approving the appointment of John H. Kennedy to the Police Community Review Commission. 2022-585, an ordinance approving the appointment of Curtis J. Tomlin to the Springfield Mechanical Commission. 2022-586, an ordinance approving the appointment of Ashley Yogerist to the Springfield Historic Sites Commission. 2022-587, an ordinance approving the appointment of Yvonne Dion to the Municipal Band Commission.
So those were all appointees that they put together on a omnibus package, right? So instead of taking each one, they read them all together, and likely they'll pass those all on the consent agenda moving forward next week. All right, we got to take a break, but coming back, we will delve into some trash talk that took up a lot of the meeting last night. Only about an hour and 20-minute meeting, but talking trash. That led a lot of the conversation, so we'll get to that next here with Springfield's Morning News. It is the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location, open for lunch, Head West Subs. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up. It's now 7:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
This is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. So as we come into this new year, I know a lot of people are doing some new habits. They're getting into the gym a little bit more, maybe checking your diets a little bit better. Well, we have that for you here too, from beginning to end, whether it's a pre-workout in the Kill Cliff, it could be in the CBG that I use just to bring down the inflammation. CBG kind of turbocharges your CBD, and it's amazing for the anti-inflammatory effects. And a lot of people know I jumped out of a lot of helicopters as a Marine, and that's starting to catch up with me a few years later. So this helps me out a ton as I go into racquetball and pickleball season to help me kind of recover better and also be ready sooner. One of our top products is this 1,500 milligram topical cream that I created with a friend of mine. It goes well on my skin, and it also doesn't smell like anything. So you're not going to walk around smelling like a flower or smelling like hemp, but you're going to have that pain relief. So come on by, check these things out. You can sample nearly everything in the shop. CBD Botanicals at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road at the corner of Cokie Mill and Isles, next to Walgreens in the Fresenius building.
Green Hyundai, they, of course, just got some major accolades, and they are ready to service you and your family, including taking that vehicle off your hands and getting you into a new vehicle. Mike Quimby, tell us all about it.
That's right, Greg. The National Auto Dealers Association said there are millions of people on the sidelines that haven't traded that are ready to. And I mean, you can see it in some of the vehicles that are on the road, the maintenance that needs to be done, and et cetera. So we're ready for it, as the folks have put off buying a car because of COVID, because of interest rates, because of the economy, et cetera. And we're ready. We've got stock in, we've got everything, Palisades on the ground, Santa Fe, Tucson, all of them right now out of the east side on Dirksen Parkway. So don't put it off any longer. Let's get it done. We've also brought on aboard 0% on selected automobiles, short-term with approved credit. So this is the time to do it before interest rates go up again. So we've got them. Stop out and see us. We're ready for you. The finest vehicles on the road, a new Hyundai from Green Hyundai, number one Hyundai dealer in the central United States, right in your backyard, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway. Greg?
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Have a great day.
We appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
And today's question, will you abide by Illinois' new law banning the sale of certain semi-automatic weapons and requiring existing weapons be registered with the state. Yes or no? And looks like as of so far this morning, you had more than half say that they would, and refreshing that now, you've got 66% saying no, they won't comply and register those weapons. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right. We continue with the Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. Don't forget about delivery. They're also open for lunch on Saturdays. All right, let's get back to it, and let's talk about some trash. Some good old trash talk. It's what the Council Roundup's all about. And it was something that they brought up last night. So here we go. The clerk, Frank Lesko, lays out the latest ordinance that they're up to consider, and here he is explaining what that is.
2022-590, an ordinance authorizing a 10-year renewal memorandum of understanding with the State of Illinois Department of Natural Resources for space located at 1 Old State Capitol.
That's not it. See, here's the problem. I've got so much going on here. I mean, look at all these screens, and if I was to show you even over here and over there, it's just, there's a lot. Anyways, here's the ordinance about trash. It's trash.
And authorizing the purchase of trash and recycling receptacles for downtown beautification from Victor Stanley Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $251,282, and authorizing a transfer budget authority in the amount of $171,282 from Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau budget.
So that's a lot of money for some trash cans. You've got members of the Springfield City Council wanting to sound off on this, including Alderman Ralph Hanauer, who said, well, this is pretty expensive.
And we're spending $250,000 for garbage cans? Seriously? $250,000 for garbage cans?
They're good cans.
They're pretty.
They better be dang good cans.
Scott Dahl needs to come up.
Yeah, Scott Dahl needs to come up, but they also had Nate Bottom there to address this a bit as well.
Cans as well as the recycling cans, so 120 some or so approximately.
120 cans?
Correct. I think they're about
for $100. Wait a minute here. We're spending over $1,000 per garbage can?
They're concrete, aren't they? Yep, there was an RFP that was put out, and they're a little bit heavier duty cans.
Oh, boy. It's a lot of money for some trash cans. Scott Dahl getting up to address aldermen, and there were questions all around. Here's Scott Dahl.
You know, the ARP money, I thought we were going to try to use it more for, trying to, more projects that we were behind on, not on garbage cans and some of this other stuff. We're gonna look around, and this money's gonna be gone, and we're not gonna have it. We'll have garbage cans apparently to show for it. Yeah. I mean, we might as well light it and put a fireworks show together.
So Alderman Hanauer will hear from the city's tourism director, Scott Dahl, and so much more, continuing on with trash talk from last night's Springfield City Council meeting. It is the Council Roundup on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, brought to you by Head West Subs. All right, stay tuned. More coming up on that, but at 7:30, let's take a break and get some headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Chinese embassies stopped issuing new visas for South Koreans and Japanese on Tuesday in apparent retaliation for restrictions on travelers from China. It wasn't clear whether China would expand the visa suspensions to other countries that have imposed stricter virus testing on passengers from China following its COVID-19 surge. According to South Korea's Disease Control and Prevention Agency, about 17% of the 2,550 short-term travelers from China from January 2nd to Tuesday have tested positive. Two Springfield paramedics have been charged with murder after Sangamon County prosecutors say their treatment of a patient led to his death. Peter Cadigan and Peggy Finley were booked into Sangamon County Jail on $1 million bond each after Earl Moore Jr. died December 18th while in their care. An autopsy indicated that Moore suffocated while being tightly restrained face down on a stretcher. The charges indicate that the EMTs knew that their actions were likely to cause death or great bodily harm. Police body cam video of the incident can be viewed at WMAY.com. A measure approved by the Illinois House of Representatives gives the Illinois Department of Human Services at least 60 days to transfer an inmate to a psychiatric facility. Sangamon County and other counties have argued that state law requires those moves within 20 days. The new law allows DHS to take longer if it can prove a lack of available bed space. Supporters of the bill say county sheriffs should keep working in the spring legislative session on ways to address the bed shortage and speed up the transfer process. The Illinois Prison Project is seeking clemency for the man convicted of the rape and murder of a 16-year-old girl in Macoupin County in 1985. Robert Turner was initially sentenced to death, but his sentence was commuted to life in prison by Governor George Ryan. Turner's lawyers say he has changed behind bars and is deeply committed to Christianity and helping others. The girl's family opposes Turner's release. The Illinois Prison Review Board will make a confidential recommendation to Governor J.B. Pritzker. The top federal prosecutor in Chicago has been assigned to investigate the discovery of about 10 classified documents in a closet at a Washington, D.C. office used by President Biden after he served as vice president. Lawyers for Biden immediately contacted the National Archives and returned the documents after they were discovered. U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, John Lausch, was named by Attorney General Merrick Garland to look into how these documents wound up at the Penn Biden Center and whether special counsel is needed in the investigation. Investigation of a December burglary led Sangamon County deputies to a search at the home of 34-year-old Nicholas Groth on East Cedar. They found 4 rifles, dozens of ammunition magazines, hundreds of rounds of ammo, 4 grams of methamphetamine, and a stolen log splitter. Groth has 22 prior arrests and was on probation at the time of the search. He was arrested on multiple charges but is out of jail after posting 10% of his $100,000 bond. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery. Now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield. Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home. Near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com. Step away from the hectic pace of life for 30 seconds and let me tell you about Elkhart Station. You'll find Elkhart Station located in the heart of Elkhart, Illinois, where nostalgia meets small-town charm. Search the fun and unique handcrafted products and everyday necessities, including food and beverages from the state of Illinois. Let your taste buds decide which of the local beer, wine, and crafted spirits are the best in the tasting room experience. For more information, visit conshg.com.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I do love music and dancing in particular. I have a very good friend, Beverly. She's my dance partner, even though she can only just kind of move back and forth. But she enjoys it quite a lot, and she looks forward to it.
Oh, Bill's my dancing buddy. We have a good time.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, cloudy with a high near 53. Rain arriving tonight with a low around 39. Tomorrow, rain in the morning. Breezy with temperatures falling to near freezing by sunset. Low tomorrow night around 26. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 34. Low around 22. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 40. Low around 31. And Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Memorial Health would like to talk to you about a career in healthcare. Now through the end of January, Memorial is hosting a series of hiring events for multiple departments. Come learn about our available positions, as well as some of the biggest hiring incentives we've ever offered, like limited time hiring bonuses for RNs and PCTs. Virtual sessions are available, but hurry, space is limited. Register now at jobs.memorial.health/events. Memorial is an equal opportunity employer.
Well, Mickey and I are retiring and closing the store, and these are the final days. The remaining inventory is priced up to as low as 17 cents on the dollar. Everything's got to go. Many people have asked where they should go for their service needs. Well, most of the remaining jewelry stores in Springfield have goldsmith shops and are capable of cleaning and checking your fine jewelry. It's been a great run, and we thank you so much. We are locking the doors on Saturday the 14th at 3 o'clock.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Back with the Council Roundup, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Last night's Committee of the Whole meeting were in review and a lot of trash talk. And right as we started talking about trash, interesting enough, I got a YouTube subscriber named Litterbug. I mean, you can't get any more, poetic than that. So, Litterbug, thanks for following and subscribing to us on YouTube. And gosh, I've just been blowing up over here. All right, let's get back to it. They talked about hundreds of thousands of dollars for trash cans that they're wanting to put downtown. I'm told commercial grade trash recycling receptacles breaks down to about $88 per month or $733 per month per unit over the expected 20-year lifespan. Public Works, they did bid this out, so they got the best price. And also, we may hear a little bit more of this while they debated the measure last night. The director of tourism is in front of the city council for the Committee of the Whole, talking about the trash receptacles and what exactly the costs are and what's going on with these. So Scott Dahl, he was in front of the city council, and Alderman Hanauer really driving the criticism here. But here's some of the back and forth.
And these are not only garbage but recycling receptacles, at least 20 years. And so we got to think 20 years down the road. That's what we're doing now. You coordinate those with your benches as well. And, we're looking at the long term, playing the long game here as well. And these are ARPA money that's coming out of the CVB's allocation. So we reworked some of those initiatives that we had to get these done. I think this is the time to do it.
So they're using, again, COVID-19 relief dollars to buy new trash receptacles and recycling receptacles to replace ones that are downtown Springfield right now that are actually 20 years old, which is what blows my mind that they're 20 years old. They don't look necessarily 20 years old, but they do look like they're pretty aged. And if you're downtown ever and you see those trash receptacles, they don't really operate that great. They're kind of, yuck looking. So we're going to get some new ones, apparently, as they're moving forward with. But Alderman Hanauer still critical of this moving forward here.
Scott, come on. $1,000 garbage cans. Come on.
Listen, they're expensive.
20 years worth?
There was an RFP that was put out.
We'll lose more garbage cans in 20 years than what we put out.
I think if you go cheaper, you will.
I bet you we do on these.
I don't think so. They're really heavy duty.
really heavy duty. And we heard a little bit in the background there that these might have a little bit of a concrete base. I think right now there's some kind of composite material of sorts. But continuing on with some of the questions about what's going on here with this purchase of trash receptacles. Here is, I believe, Alderman Williams.
None of the latches work.
Oh, still
the
Scott Dahl.
condition are deplorable at this point. And, we have over 1 million visitors coming a year, and this is, what they're looking at. They're trying to use the garbage cans, and most of them don't work. Either the flaps don't work. These are more rounded. They're heavy-duty metal. You don't have to worry about the doors, having doors on them, or those flap containers. This really advances this. I know it's a lot of money. I understand that, but we're talking 2 decades here.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. That's for sure. But still, Alderman wanting to get some questions answered. Here is Alderman Williams.
And then they're going to hear now that we're spending $1,000 per can. I have to be ready to explain that now I know, because the garbage cans we got are old. I mean, I'm kind of with Alderman Hanauer. That's a little expensive for a can. And
$614 each.
Huh?
$2,614 each if you go based on at least my simple math.
Simple math. Woohoo! That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Scott Dahl?
Well, they coordinate with the current benches from an aesthetic standpoint. They'll aesthetically be obviously pleasing to view, but also the volume. Our current receptacles they don't handle the volume, especially on the recycling side. They're just not large enough.
Then you get Alderman Redpath, who lays out his thoughts on supporting the several $100,000 to pay for new trash receptacles in downtown Springfield.
This is the capital city, and our downtown has looked like crap for years. And now we're starting to beautify it with some trees and benches and trash cans. We need to do this. This ARPA money can only be spent for certain areas. So I'm telling you, we need to start spending this money to do this kind of stuff.
You also had Redpath talk about the need for getting those trash cans downtown.
This ARPA money, it's been sitting too long. Let's spend it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We need to start looking at the downtown sewers too with that money. Because, that's another area that we need to use that money for.
And again, there's $20 million sitting in a fund right now the city of Springfield needs to spend by a certain time, and they'll likely line all that up with the new budget that's coming up for the city of Springfield. But during last night's committee of the whole, they talked more about the trash cans that they're looking to purchase, and Alderman Donilon with the line of the night last night.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, not to belabor all the trash talk.
At least I said go without that pun.
Hey,
That's all I had to say. Someone cut his mic.
I love it. And see, that's why we bring you the roundup, because you don't necessarily get those kind of clips in the news. And that's just fun. It's good. You're starting your morning off listening to what's going on with the city of Springfield, city government. And it's right here every Wednesday with the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. All right, continuing on with the trash talk from last night, Alderman Donilon, he goes on to have actual substance, not just jokes.
We all are advocating for our wards, but the downtown is the heart of our community. It just is. And the not only for tourism, but for business, and hopefully more and more business and residential. But what I'd like to see also is, there's infrastructure projects. The mayor and I have talked about one in particular out of my ward, and where people turn on their faucets and basically sludge and mud comes out. That's unacceptable. That's the kind of thing. To me, that's the number one priority for ARPA money, projects like that.
So Alderman Donilon laying out why he thinks this is a good idea, but there needs to be a focus on some other spending as well. Alderwoman Purchase sounding off.
So we do have to amplify that area. And like you said, it's not just Ward 5. This is something that everybody comes to. It's centrally located that brings everybody together.
Like those are $1,790.
Okay.
Getting a little bit more. Bad math. Thanks, Nate.
What did he say?
$1,700. Shoot, if I forget what I said then.
Not more than $2,000. It's just $1,700 for the trash cans per can. It's funny that they had to clarify just how much those were. Alderman Gregory, the chair of the committee of the whole last night, provides some criticism.
Southtown wants trash cans. We ain't gonna get $1,700
trash cans. Like, we really have some serious things we haven't spent. I agree, we do need to spend the American Rescue Funds, and we do need to spend it on some other things. We need to spend it on some workforce development. We haven't done that. We barely touch housing, but we're going to spend it on $1,700 on some trash cans? I'm not voting for that. That's crazy. We can find something cheaper and we can do something better than that.
So this ultimately was put onto the agenda for next week. We'll likely hear more about this. But last night from the City Council, Alderman Hanauer gets the last line for our Trash Talk segment this morning.
My concern was the amount of money for trash cans. And I realize we got the things that go over the trash cans that hide them and all that. But I feel like it's just a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So we'll likely hear a lot more about that next week for the Council Roundup. That's all I got for you today on WMAY. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. And don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. All right, stay tuned. We are going to tackle next up the next line of defense when it comes to the gun ban and registry. Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois board member Dan Eldridge. I talked with him yesterday, right after the bill passed. I'll share that conversation with you next year on WMAY. It's now 7:48.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
It's the time of year when the best part of your day might very well be getting out of the weather and getting into your nice, comfortable home. But is your home as comfortable as it could be? It can be with MB Heating and Cooling. First of all, a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling makes sure that your furnace is working at peak capacity and optimum performance. You save money, you extend the life of your equipment, all at big savings. You can find out more about service agreements at mb-heating.com. But don't forget about the other services MB offers, like a humidifier. As part of your heating system, it would make a huge difference in indoor air quality and comfort. You can ask the team at MB about one when you schedule your service appointment. And maybe it's time for a new furnace all the way around. If your furnace is old and tired and not as efficient as it should be, it's time for a new one. Talk to the folks at MB Heating and Cooling. Again, you can go to mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328.
Hello, Lauterbach Man here. People often come by and they say to me, Lauterbach Man, how do you manage to stay outside all winter? But because they're so short, it just sounds like... But I get the gist. It's cold out, and how can a fella like me endure the cold? Because at Lauterbach Tire, we understand staying outside in the cold. Your car does it every single winter. Oh yes, it challenges the batteries and belts and important fluids, but does it ever break down? No, because you brought your car to my top team of automotive technicians. Winter is tough on us all, but it doesn't have to be tough on your car. We'll make sure it's happy to start up in the morning. Oh, somebody else down there is asking me something. How zebras, tomato soup, hamper, shoelace? I can't understand you. No, it's because you're short. Sorry. Lauterbach Man at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. We fix cars so you can drive safely now.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Guys, are you getting up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? As we get older, so do our prostates, and that can mean urinary problems that affect our sleep and quality of life. Life is better outside the bathroom. Real Health's Prostate Complete can help you relieve those annoying and painful prostate symptoms. Available at Walmart or visit realhealth.com for more information and to order yours today. Try it risk-free with our 120-day money-back guarantee. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
This will greatly impact 2.4 million FOID card law-abiding citizens in the state of Illinois that strongly believe in their Second Amendment rights. 2.4 million Illinoisans. I do ask, let's try this again. We need discussion, and I do ask a vote no, please, on this bill.
That was
State
Representative Tom Bennett, who's actually going into the state Senate starting today. That was yesterday on the House floor, the final day of legislative action for the 102nd General Assembly, and the 103rd General Assembly will be seated today. But on that last day, they passed a bill that bans certain semi-automatic guns and magazines and requires a registry of those guns that are already legally in gun owners' hands to be associated with your firearm owner identification card in Illinois. But the governor signed it last night. He did not hesitate. He did not wait. Once he got it there, he was able to sign it, but only after some speeches and whatnot. And we'll hear a little bit more of what the governor had to say coming up in the next hour with your phone calls. But after the measure passed yesterday, I reached out to Dan Eldridge. He's with Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois. That's the association that represents gun stores in the state of Illinois. He runs Maxon Shooter Sports out of Des Plaines, and we got his reaction to what exactly is going on here, especially now with customers. How are customers going to be impacted by this? And it's interesting to hear some of the kind of minutia of the bill. Here is Dan Eldridge from Maxon Shooter Sports and Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois.
Well, the Senate inserted a provision that allows us to complete sales for which the background check was started prior to the effective date of this, or prior to or on the effective date of this legislation. So if it's today, for example, any firearm that's purchased today where we could start the background check, we'll still be able to deliver that firearm to the customer. However, there's no similar treatment of magazines. So the magazines themselves would not be deliverable. So we're now in the position of delivering non-functioning firearms to people.
So Eldridge, of course, talking before the governor signed the bill, but after it passed the House. So now it's effective. You can no longer go out to a gun store and purchase a semi-automatic gun or a magazine of 10 or more for long guns or 15 or more for handguns. Those are now prohibited, immediately effective after the governor signed that legislation last night. But Eldridge talking about the lawsuits and how they plan on moving forward with these lawsuits.
Well, Greg, we didn't choose to have this fight, but there's an element of looking forward to it because we're on such good footing with the Supreme Court and Bruin that the likelihood of getting injunctive relief very quickly is high. The dealers are engaged. The memberships of FFLIL has gone straight up. We've raised substantial money for this fight. We're looking forward to being in court maybe as early as next week.
And Eldridge also talked about the plan to tackle the law in various capacities and looking at not just the gun ban, the gun registry, but also the magazine ban. And they will have those lawsuits filed. Here's more of his thoughts about moving forward with that litigation.
Again, we have very good footing with the Supreme Court. Senator Harman said yesterday that the Supreme Court thinking on 2A issues is in flux. That view does not comport with reality. The Bruin decision, New York carry law, it killed New York's carry law, and along with the California, New Jersey mag limits, Maryland assault weapon ban, unambiguously. And then yesterday in New Jersey, a federal judge enjoined the state from enforcing what people were calling the kill carry law, which basically forbade the carrying of concealed firearms by licensees anywhere outside of their home. So this stuff is not going to last. It's an unfortunate waste of everybody's time and resources. You even had Bob Morgan today hemming and hawing about their inability to find analogous case law to sustain any challenge to this. It's not going to last. We will win, and when we're done with this, we'll have an energized membership base. We'll have a pretty big war chest, and we're going to go after everything else that we can.
So again, that's Dan Eldridge. He's with Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois, reacting to that measure passing and the governor signing it last night. And you had the Illinois State Rifle Association also put out their message yesterday saying, "Dear Governor Pritzker, President Harmon, Speaker Welch, challenge accepted. The Illinois State Rifle Association will see the state of Illinois in court." And earlier this morning, if you missed it, we talked with John Bach from Gun Save Life, and they fully anticipate that they'll have that lawsuit filed as early as next week and getting injunctive relief as early as possibly February. Now, the measure, it doesn't require you to register your firearms until between October 1st and January 1st of 2024. But regardless, the future sale of semi-automatic weapons and certain magazine capacities prohibited in the state of Illinois. We'll get your reaction to that next here with Springfield's Morning News, so stay tuned. That's coming up in about 10 minutes on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. It's now 8 o'clock. Stay tuned.